Hello, everybody. This is Sherry Eldridge, life coach. I am coming on from the Daily Dose of Positive Tea. I'm excited to be here with you guys again. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining today. If you could please like and share this, okay? Like and share this. Also, I have a YouTube page that I would like you all to go to. I'm going to try to leave that link in the comments so that you can go there and like and subscribe to our YouTube page. So with the YouTube page, you can go back to the Daily Dose of Positive Teas. You can see the more current ones, the more older ones, and you can get caught up if you do not. If you are new to the Daily Dose of Positive Tea, thank you for joining. Thank you so much for coming on. I give you a shout out. Give a quick shout out to all the newcomers, to everyone who this is your first time. So once again, if you don't know who I am Executive Life Coach Sherry Eldridge, and I am so happy to be here to share with you a little bit of the Daily Dose of Positive Tea. All right, here's the book. Okay, so if you do not have your Daily Dose of Positive Tea, you can go to Amazon, just type my name in, Sherry Eldridge, and this will pop up along with a plethora of other of my books. Okay, this right here was just giving you some daily encouragement. We all can use a little bit of daily encouragement, no matter what's going on in your life. If it's good, still get encouragement and encourage somebody else. But if you're going through some things, I'm telling you, all you gotta do is pick up that book, and you definitely can go ahead and encourage someone else. Okay. I just got a pop-up on my computer. That was weird. Okay, but anyway, y'all know what it is. It is definitely tea time. I'm not going to waste no more time. It's time to get in the tea today. And our topic today is going to be on self-discipline. And what I want to share with you guys today is from The Power of Self-Love in 31 Days. I want to share a little bit of the affirmation of self-discipline with you before we get into our points for self-discipline, okay? And on self-discipline, this is the affirmation, and it says, today, I choose to activate and operate self-discipline in my life. I will activate the ability to control my feelings and overcome my weaknesses. I will pursue what is right despite temptations to abandon it. Okay, and I'm just going to stop right there, because if you want the rest of the affirmation, go to Amazon, grab your book. This book is life-changing, The Power of Self-Love in 31 Days. Okay, so let's get started on self-discipline. And my first point of self-discipline builds character. It's a lot of characterless people in the world, okay? And that is not how we want to live. Self-discipline, for me personally, I believe it is a lifesaver. It is definitely a lifesaver. And it's not just a lifesaver for others, but it's a lifesaver for myself. And I mean that in every aspect of my life, naturally, physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, socially. Having self-discipline in every area of my life has been peaceful. The outcomes have been peaceful. The outcomes have been growth, prosperity, vulnerability, just maturity, life-changing, healthy. It's been healthy. Okay. So self-discipline is one of the fruits of the spirit. And it is also worth having. All right. So let's go naturally. Y'all know how we do. We go natural and spiritual on this. All right. So naturally, practicing self-discipline strengthens your ability to stay focused. I'm talking to all my ADHD friends. Okay. Self-discipline strengthens your ability to stay focused. And I'm not saying that it's easy, but it is doable. Delayed gratification. It also helps with delayed gratification and it helps you to reach your goals. Okay. It builds habits that shape a strong and resilient character. I know for me as well, I suffer with a little ADHD. So I can start something, and then I'll start something else, and then I'll start something else. And then I look back and it's like, okay, I ain't finished none of that. So let me I'll go downstairs to my basement to do something, and I'll start doing something else. And then I'm in the kitchen, and then I'm like, wait, I didn't finish what I was doing in the basement. Okay. So self-discipline helps bring structure. It helps you start to form great habits. Okay. And it shapes you, that it shapes a strong and resilient character. Okay. It takes a lot. My gift is life coaching. Okay. And what people think as a life coach is that you do a lot of talking when you actually don't. You have to train yourself to listen, and you have to listen effectively. You can't just, and if you're ADHD, like even for myself, sometimes I had to have self-discipline to teach myself how to sit and listen for long periods of time. And if you're a person that's used to being mobile and moving and getting around, and you can do 2 and 3 things at the same time, it takes self-discipline to focus yourself in and purposely listen and focus effectively. Okay. So self-discipline can definitely help people in so many areas. And I promise you, like I said, it is doable. It's doable. Now let's go spiritually with self-discipline building character. In Hebrews 12:11, it says, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but later it produces a harvest of righteousness. Spiritual discipline molds you into the image of Christ. And that is why it is a fruit of the Spirit. That the fruits of the Spirit to me are kind of like characteristics of Christ. Okay. Self-discipline. You gotta be able to discipline yourself. You gotta be able to say, hey, this is something that I can do, but the benefit or the outcome of me doing that would be negative. So let me hold my peace and let the Lord fight my battle. Okay. Self-discipline, me being able, I would not be a successful life coach if I did not have self-discipline. You cannot work a job properly without self-discipline. You cannot be effective in anything that you do without self-discipline. Okay? So my prayer is that we all pray to God and ask Him to help us develop the spirit of self-discipline. Self-discipline, point 2, self-discipline requires vision. So naturally, you're more likely to stay disciplined when you have a clear goal or why. So the vision keeps you aligned and motivated. So what we talked about before in an episode before this is like if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So you need a vision. You need a vision. You need a focus point. You need purpose. You need you need to have something as a reason why you're choosing to discipline yourself to listen or to hear or to be focused or to stop certain things that are distractions, or, you need self-discipline if you deal with addictions. Self-discipline is the biggest thing with addictions that helps you overcome the addiction. Learning to discipline yourself not to go to that thing that is driving you or that's pulling you to it that's not beneficial to you. Okay? So like the word says, there in the scripture where it says that no discipline seems to be pleasant at the time. So you're going to feel the effects of self-discipline in your flesh. You're going to be like, but stay focused. Stay focused. You staying focused and learning to discipline yourself can be life-saving, life-changing for the better. Okay? So it does require vision. So naturally, like I said, spiritually, let's go spiritually. Proverbs 29:18, it says, where there is no vision, the people perish. God's vision for your life empowers you to say no to distractions and yes to destiny, as I was just saying. So If you do not have a vision, if you do not feel like you know your purpose and you have a purpose or you're living in your purpose, then you will perish. Meaning you will just be done away with, or your legacy, you don't have a legacy to leave and your name dies, or just certain things like that. And we don't want that. We want to leave legacies. We want to walk in purpose. We want to have a vision because that gives us life. Okay. So our third point is self-discipline helps you master emotions. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Listen, I used to have to pray and be like, God, I'm an emotional person. I was just able to confess that I am very sensitive. So God has been having me in a vulnerable place. And when you're living in survival mode and you lived in survival mode does not allow you to be vulnerable or weak or have downtime. You don't have time to be emotional. Okay? You don't have time to feel. You just want to survive. So you just do what you got to do to get things done. But self-discipline helps you master emotions. Emotions are when you are feeling, you are sensitive, that's all part of emotions. And it's okay to have. It's definitely okay to have. Also, there are times that you want to have your emotions under control, okay? Naturally, it's not about ignoring your emotions, but not letting them control you. Discipline helps you respond with wisdom instead of reacting impulsively. All right, we've all done it. We've all acted out in our emotions, and it may have caused us harm, and it may have caused someone else harm. We may have lost something from it. We may have, something, there was a consequence. And having self-discipline allows us to understand how to respond with wisdom. And there will be times where you're emotional, and it would be the time and the place to be emotional. There are times that you need to cry. There are times that you should speak how you're feeling with the tears coming down. There is a time and a place, okay? And so you don't want to deny your emotions. You don't want to deny what you feel, but self-discipline helps you master your emotions, okay? So spiritually in Galatians 5:22-23, call self-control a fruit of the spirit, which is what I was saying earlier. With God, you can rule your spirit instead of letting your flesh take over. All right. So the flesh shouldn't be leading and guiding us. The spirit should. And I'm talking about if you are a believer, the spirit of God. If you're not a believer, there is another spirit that wants to control you, but it's not to take you into good places. So you want to make sure that you're giving your life to Christ and you're allowing the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God, to lead you and guide you in all truth and righteousness. And how he does that is he gives us fruits of the Spirit. Love, patience, kindness, self-discipline, meekness, joy. Those are characteristics that God desires for us to have so that we can live an abundant life on earth. All right. Our last point is self-discipline honors God. It honors God. Ooh, that's good to know. That's good to know because I ain't doing this in vain. Because you get to that point where you feel like when you're operating in the self-discipline, it's like, okay, I'm tired of being a bigger person. I want to be petty Betty today. Okay. I want to be petty Betty today. Let me be petty. And you got a choice. You can be that. But just believe this. Just understand this. That one time that you choose to not operate in self-discipline could be life-changing for the worst. You can lose your job. You can lose a friend. You can lose family. You can hurt someone. Someone else can be hurt by it. And then it will take years to get it restored and revived. You can miss out on a relationship and it will take years to be trustworthy again. Okay. So you want to use wisdom, but just understand that when you're using self-discipline, it honors God. Me knowing that gives me joy in operating in self-discipline on a regular, because that's what I desire to do, honor God. Okay. So naturally, when you live with discipline, you become more dependable, productive, and trustworthy. Qualities that attract favor. I'm a living witness. The favor of God is on my life. It's on my life. And it can be in and on yours. All right? But you got to have discipline. Become dependable. Become productive. Become trustworthy. These are the qualities that attract favor. All right? I ain't telling you to be everything for everybody, because you're not God and you don't have to be. But for the seasons and the spaces that you are in and you can be. Okay? So spiritually, self-discipline honors God with Romans 12:1, and it says to present your body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. Discipline is an act of worship and surrender. And not to tell you all my business, but I am presenting my body a living sacrifice unto God. God give us free will. So you can be out here free willy-nilly in it, doing whatever you want to do with your body. You can put whatever you want in your body. But self-discipline allows you to present your body to God as a living sacrifice. That means you're alive and you're sacrificing things because you desire to please God. Okay? So you're sacrificing. I ain't even gonna start naming stuff, so I want God to let him speak to you about what you can sacrifice to show him that you love him. And I believe and I know with everything in me, the things that you sacrifice to present your body a living sacrifice and holy and pleasable to God will benefit your body, your natural body. When you choose to not ingest things in your body that tears up your lungs or your liver or your kidneys or your brain, and you decide to do healthy things, you're presenting your body, you're loving yourself, and that's just how God wants it to be, and then he can use you. I've heard somebody say this on social media that they said they don't trust a preacher or teacher that's overweight. And that made sense to me, because what they were saying is, if a person, we don't know why people are overweight, because it's not just because they always eat. Some people have thyroid issues. Some people really do have different problems. So you would miss out not hearing God can use anybody how they are. But what the other side of what I felt that person was meaning is that if self-discipline is a fruit of the Spirit and you are a leader and you are saved, you should be actively applying self-discipline. And then we would see it in action. So to show a person that is maybe overweight due to lack of self-discipline of what they're putting in their body shows us that you're not having all the characteristics of Christ. And as a leader, that's what people look at. They really do read your life, whether you believe it or not, whether you like it or not. When you get in a certain position, people will put you in a place higher. They don't care that you're human anymore. They don't say, oh, you human. No, you represent Christ. We want to see Christ likeness. And self-discipline is a part of that. So I get why they said that. I don't want you to miss out. I don't want you to judge people, and I want you to miss out, because God will use any and everybody to speak to you. Okay, so don't miss out on the word that God could be giving you just because the person doesn't look like they're applying self-discipline. But I understand when we present our bodies a living sacrifice, self-discipline is a characteristic it's a fruit of the Spirit. It's a characteristic of Christ. And so that should be something that should be evident in your life. Okay. So to God be the glory. I hope that helped everyone out today with self-discipline. I pray that if you understand what you need self-discipline in your life, Okay. And listen, this daily dose of positive tea is to give you a positive word of encouragement, is to give you something enlightening, is to give you something to help you grow in your walk with Christ and just in your walk on this earth in purpose. And for everything that we do, we definitely need self-discipline. So choose self-discipline today as a fruit of the spirit. I pray that this helped you greatly. Please go to the YouTube page once again, like I said, to like this and subscribe. Please share this with someone that you love. I want to thank y'all so much for joining again on another episode of Daily Dose of Positive Tea. And to God be the glory for your life. Love God, love yourself, love others, and I will see you in another episode soon.